Rights and Duties, PCBU, Officer and Worker. The following rights and duties are placed on the person conducting business or undertaking, the PCBU, officers and workers based on the requirements outlined by the Work Health and Safety Act 2011. So firstly, we're going to look at the PCBU, which as said stands for Person Conducting Business or Undertaking. In accordance with the Work Health and Safety Act 2011, the title of person conducting business or undertaking is assigned to a person in charge at an organization, such as an employer. With this title, PCBUs are legally responsible for ensuring compliance with the WHS Act, ensuring that health and safety matters are being communicated within their workplace, with all employees having the right to participate in identifying and addressing concerns through consultation with management. So basically, being the person in charge at the organization means they need to be the ones setting up the strategies in the workplace so that if anyone does notice anything, there is an actual strategy for bringing it to the attention of someone with authority, and then the actual issue can then be managed from that point on. If an incident does occur within a workplace, responsibility can ultimately fall on the PCBU if it is believed that the WHS legislation or employee concerns were not being supported within the workplace. So that's where the accountability comes in. If it is shown that the PCBU was not setting up any practices or policies or supportive strategies for their workers and something goes wrong, it's going to fall on them. Okay, so they're the person that WHS will fall on, hence why they're given the title of PCBU. The next category of individual is that of an officer. This is the title of an individual whose role it is to be responsible ensuring that the person conducting business or undertaking, the PCBU that we just spoke about, is fulfilling their WHS duty. An officer has due diligence in the following area, and that's a term taken straight from the Act. Okay, they need to be up to date with safety matters in the workplace. They need to have an understanding of the specific workplace hazards and risks associated with the company's form of work. So, if they're a construction company, they're aware of the types of hazards that exist within the construction environment. If they're in the hospitality industry, the same thing specific to that environment, or in the ICT environment, the same thing for that environment. They need to know their work area essentially. They need to ensure that the PCBU has processes set up for consultation and participation related to the management of the company and communicating safety in the workplace for all their employees to follow so that they know what the actual strategies are for bringing matters and issues to the attention of management so that they can be acknowledged and resolved. They need to ensure that practices implemented by the PCBU are compliant with the existing WHS legislation, because remember that legislation is the law, so they're the one ensuring that the PCBU is following the law. And then they are to know and access established resources that can help support health and safety in the workplace. So if they're not sure what's going on in some sort of situation, if they're not sure if something's compliant, what pathways will they follow? What documentation will they look at? Who might they call, such as Safe Work New South Wales, or they might just visit their website and see what documentation they can read there. So the officer has a very important role ensuring that the PCBU is doing the right thing, and not just from a kind of authoritarian way, but also in a supportive way too. Because even PCBUs, they're managing businesses, their expertise is in their business area. They need that support as well. So it could be as well the officers guiding the PCBU in supporting their compliance of the legislation there. The final category is that of general workers, okay, all the people that are employed in the workplace and thus have a responsibility there. So all employees, regardless of level of authority, have responsibilities into maintaining health and safety in the workplace. Some of these responsibilities include individuals taking reasonable care for their own health and safety. They're not putting themselves in danger. And then flowing on from that, their acts and behavior in the workplace doesn't put others in dangers either. Okay, so they're actually being responsible for their own actions, not getting themselves in danger, and not putting any of their peers in dangers either. They need to support the strategies that have been implemented by the PCBU to allow for the organisation to comply with the Work Health and Safety Act 2011. So these strategies set up by the PCBU to be compliant, if workers know what they are, they've got to support them. Okay, they might need to be trained in them so they understand fully what they are. But once they know what they are, they're bound to support these health and safety work practices that have been implemented in their workplaces. Thus, they've got to cooperate with any policy and procedures relating to health and safety. Okay, but on the PCBU side, they do have to do things such as induction training and regular safety training to ensure that their workers keep up to date. We've got to remember here that in the workplace, Okay, WHS is everyone's responsibility. People may have different levels of authority, as we're kind of saying here, and we'll go into even more subcategories in future videos, but everyone has a role in both communicating and participating in relation to health and safety. Obviously, final accountability will come to the PCBU. They're got to be the one to set up the strategies. The officer will support them with that and obviously be on top of them with that if they're not being set up. But generally, all workers need to follow these rules, be active in order to keep everyone safe.